Welcome to the Sub 4 RA channel, everybody. I am your host, Rhino, and today we have our first road course of the 2020 Adult Diecast Racing Cup season. That's right, coming to you from Denver, Colorado, the site of the Devil's Backbone. The Devil's Backbone does see a different look for 2020, but I guarantee you it's going to be just as wicked, if not even more, than in seasons past. Alright, here's a look at all 36 cars participating in today's race, all sectioned out and which segments they'll be racing in. Alright, it's almost time to drop the green flag. Before we do, just remind you, if you're looking for the best 1/64 scale diecast racing accessories, look no further than 3dbotmaker.com. Alright, here we go. We got segment 1 on the track. Just a reminder, Devil's Backbone, the inside lane is actually the lane on the right. So we're going to start it off in the 1 car, your pole setter. It's Glitter Girl. On her outside, teammate and little bro. In the 4 car is Bud. Row 2, 43 car making his Cup debut. It's Squirrely Dan. On his outside in the 27, it is none other than Vinny. Doesn't matter if we're in a quarantine or not. Nightlife. Row 3, your 2019 ADRC champion, Frank Klein in that 33. On his outside, he picked up his second career Liquid Rush Energy Drink Racing Series win. It is the 9 car of Skeeter Davis. Remember, 4 laps with the winner going on to the main event. Let's do it! Wow, that could have been a disastrous lap to start it off. Look at this. Squirrely Dan goes underneath the divider. He's gone. And unfortunately, the teammates, Glitter Girl, look at Frank Klein roll over, hits the brakes trying to avoid them. Glitter Girl and Bud don't exactly start this race how they wanted to initially going into turn 1, but they come out of it looking a lot better than how they started. They're going to lead them down. Everybody's still in it. 3 laps to go. Oh man, there's a lot to look at here in this slow-mo of lap 2. Glitter Girl gonna get out in front. She has problems off the turn 1, but look at Bud goes over and recorrects it, and look at Frank Klein off the track, knocked off by Skeeter Davis. Skeeter Davis winds up on his roof out of the race, so tough luck for your Liquid Rush Energy Drink Racing Series winner out of the race after only 2 laps. So we're gonna have Glitter Girl and Bud still gonna lead you down with 2 to go. Alright, this race not going the way Nero 62 Racing would have wanted it. Glitter Girl gets hit by Bud. Piece of track goes. Hey, we got to get that piece of track. We got to get a Sapo. We got any glue? Alright, look at this. Bud going to back it up. So that is the good news for Nero 62 Racing. They're still going to lead it, however, without Glitter Girl. So Bud, Frank Klein, 1 to go. I tell you right now, Bud's got to be pissed, and pissed at himself. He had this segment wrapped up. Other 3 cars losing control. Bud going into 1, got the rally. All he has to do is finish it. flips it over onto his roof. Luckily for him, though, able to get it back on the wheels. However, does not complete the lap. Remember, the last lap has to be completed in order to count. So we're going to redo this here, the 5th lap in the segment. Who's going to go on to the main event? Oh, again, Bud, I mean, he pretty much had this one wrapped up too. For starters, gets to the hole shot first. However, problems in one sends him off to his side. And look at Frank Klein goes over. So Bud, again, golden opportunity. Not Golden Girl, Bud, to win this. Cannot pull it off. Frank Klein in the back there in Dave Akers Customs garage. Pulled to the back, so we're going to have 3 cars remaining and a 6th lap. Does anybody want to win? Wow, Squirrely Dan steals this segment. Take a look at this. But again, off to a commanding lead. Goes into the turn 1 this time, and he drifts a little bit. Comes down to block Nightlife, and he does, but doesn't realize Squirrely Dan is there to capture the inside there, going into 2. Picks up the segment win. Look at this real time. I don't think Bud even realized that Squirrely Dan was right behind Vinny Nightlife. What a move by Squirrely Dan to get him in very first race into his very first main event. All right, Squirrely Dan short on experience but learning real quick. Mike Carroll's satellite team of Forever 43 Racing with already a car into the main event today. All right, segment 2 is ready to go. Going to be led down by the 7 car of Harry Hoon. Looked really impressive in qualifying. On the outside in the 3 car, that's B. Finn. Row 2 in the 00, Dirty Deeb. On his outside, almost pulled off the biggest upset ever in ADR history last week. Can he get back to the main event? In the Mountain Dew 3 Camaro, Brian Kelly. Row 3, that's not the 89, that's the 68 of Rusty Nubbins. On his outside, the 3 car of Lucky Jackson. All right, I know we're only a lap into the segment, but right here, right now, if Harry Hoon runs every lap like that, there ain't nobody going to catch him in this segment or the main event. 3 to go. All right, just some really good racing that lap. Here we go, 2 to go. Harry Hoon, and look at this, Lucky Jackson fought himself all the way up to the front row. Oh, man, what a horrible turn of events here for Harry Hoon and Lucky Jackson for battling his way all the way up. Let's see if we can find out what happened. I think they just lost both of them off of turn 1. Both go over. Unfortunately, B. Finn, Dirty Deeb, and Brian Kelly all into the backs of them. So that could have been worse than what it was right there. So fortunately, Harry Hoon, man, I think he had the car to beat, even more so than Glitter Girl, your pole sitter today. Fortunately, in the back there in Dave Akers Customs Garage. So we'll be coming to the white flag now. 1 to go. B. Finn, Brian Kelly. Oh, that was B-Fin's to take. Let's see if it comes back to bite him like it did Bud in segment 1. All right, here we go. We're going to have to run another one. B-Fin, Brian Kelly still in your front row. Man, look at this episode of Rubbin's Racing, Harry. B-Fin's going to try to go up. That's his only chance to get contact with Brian Kelly. Misses, takes out Dirty Deeb. Dirty Deeb almost takes out Rusty Nubbins. B-Fin spins out off of turn 1, and Brian Kelly takes it home. Going back to the main event, he is. Gotta say, Brian Kelly continues to impress here for the Show Me State Scale Auto Racing team. All right, here we go. They have another one out here. They're going to be led by the 8 car for the Show Me State team. That's Kyle Eugene making his Sub-4 RA Channel debut on his outside, the 49 car of Sloppy Joe. Dude, I used to hate those when I was a kid. Still do. Row 2 making his debut in the 91 car. It's Yoshi Takashita driving the Spam car on his outside. Never thought we'd probably really see her again. The 4 car, it's Minerva Luca. Row 3, the 3 car of Paducci on his outside. In his debut, he won last week. What's going to happen this week? Maybe in the middle? The 7 car of Jeff Bodine. Well, the answer to that question happened real quick because of where he qualified towards the back and wrecking on lap 1. That assures the 7 car of Jeff Bodine another back-to-back last place finishes. Unfortunately, Kyle Eugene also goes over while Yoshi Takashita takes command of that bunched up pack going into turn 1. Going to take the lead. There they are, Kyle Eugene, Jeff Bodine back in Dave Akers Customs Garage. So it's going to leave Takashita, Sloppy Joe, your front row with 3 to go. Say it ain't so, I will not go. Turn the lights off. That isn't right. All right, keep your eye on the inside row here. Takashita and Paducci. You want to talk about hooking up here like a super speedway race. Look at this. Around the turn, both of them. Around turn 2. Paducci, I don't know if he got clipped or lost control. Did he get clipped by Sloppy Joe? Let's take a look from the inevitable finish line cam. Ooh, too fast to tell. Take a look here. I think Paducci. Yeah, I think Paducci did that on his own. Sloppy Joe was too far behind him going into turn 2. Paducci over and out of it. All right, with just 2 to go, can Mike Carroll get another one of his team's cars into the main event in their very first time racing? Takashita going to try to pull it off here. Well, unfortunately, Takashita will not be making it to the main event. Let's go back and see what happened here. Goes up right into the front bumper of Sloppy Joe, spins him around, then Minerva Luca hits him going into the turn. Looks like he corrects it there, but then flipped back over. Perhaps by Sloppy Joe. Either way, Takashita, unfortunately, out of the race. Got to make some room back to Dave Akers Customs Garage for him. Takashita's day comes to an end, but I'm sure we'll be seeing more from him in the future. So we're going to have 1 to go. Sloppy Joe and the pretty much written off Minerva Luca, who's going to the main event. Gotta say, it looked like it was going to be Minerva Luca there. Look at this. Riding against the rail there, Sloppy Joe. He loses the whole shot to Luca. Luca goes up. Makes what looked like it was going to be a nice turn, but has problems, spins out. And it's kind of the slower is better approach for Sloppy Joe. Eases into turn one. Has enough off of two to take him to the checkered flag. And Sloppy Joe going to the main event very first time. I don't know if I should say this is your finishing order or these are the cars that survived, but either way, segment 3 in the books. We will be back with segment 4 after these messages. If you're looking for the very best in your 1/64 scale diecast racing track accessories, look no further than www.3dbotmaker.com. 3D Bot Maker, 3D Bot Maker. Don't forget, everybody, you still have time to become a series sponsor of the Liquid Rush Energy Drink Racing Series for as little as 5 skrill. Be sure to tune in tonight for the new episode of Zangief in Cincinnati. See how Zangief and his large stature has problems social distancing. Have you been accused of a crime that you did not commit? Then you or a loved one need to get on the phone now and call the law offices of Harry, Dingle, and Barry. They've been serving you since 2002. Do not delay. Pick up that phone now and make that call. And I cannot wait to watch Zangief in Cincinnati tonight. Looks like a good one. All right, here we go. Segment 4, ready to rock. We're going to be led down by the 09 car, Tony Clayman. To his outside in the 43, that's Zombie Hamilton. Row 2 in the 29 car is Chris. To his outside, now I know he doesn't drive this car, but that's how the person who sent in this car, Alderon Motorsports, wanted him to drive it. I know I didn't pronounce it how NASCAR pronounces it, but that's the German way to pronounce it, so we'll go back to the boring NASCAR way of the 24 car of Chris Buescher. Oh, wait. Buescher. Yeah, Buescher. And now we got that settled. Row 3, the 911 car of Carly Kay, having a great season. To her outside, the 2 car, Burt Buzzard. All right, let's see what happened to Chris here. Goes off the track. Looks like Carly Kay getting into the back of him. And then he gets turned by Zombie Hamilton. 50-50 grind, and Hamilton comes back and finishes the job. Chris off the track, but somehow, luckily for him, lands on his wheel, so he'll keep going. Tony Clayman doing a little bit of drifting action there. Comes across the finish line. We're going to have 3 to go. Clayman. There's a look of Zombie Hamilton, Carly Kay, and Burt Buzzard, how they spun out. So it's going to be Clayman and Carly Kay going to lead them down with 3 to go. All right, Zombie Hamilton out of it. Take a look at here. Looks like he's going to try to get around for the lead. I think he had too much foot on the gas there. Almost pulled off an amazing feat to take the lead out of the race. So Carly Kay, Tony Clayman with 2 to go. Chris is getting some frequent flyer miles off the track. Let's see what happened this time. It looks like Chris Buescher gets in the back of them, and he plows on the side of the rail, goes over. In the meantime, Burt Buzzard going to get around both Tony Clayman and Carly Kay. Doesn't complete the lap, but it will still count since it's not the last lap. Speaking of which, we're going to have 1 to go. That's going to leave Burt Buzzard and Carly Kay on the front row with 1 to go. Ah, that was some damn good driving there by Burt Buzzard. Takes the segment win. Let's see what happened here. Chris coming in strong. Gets blocked by Carly Kay. She sends him up the track and over, so he's out. And one more turn. A little bit of drifting. Who gets second here, though? This is going to be important. They're going to have a chance to get to the main event. Looks like Carly Kay comes up for second over Tony Clayman. That's your finishing order there. Burt Buzzard going on to the main event. Segment 5 up at the start gate, ready to go. Going to be led by the 22 car of Stephanie Shea. On her outside, the 1 car of Nisara Trunkel or something like that. Row 2, the 1 car of Maxzilla. On his outside, making his debut, the 21 car of the Bug Assassin. That's for Southernmost Graphite Racing. Row 3, still in the backup car, had a controversial win last week. He is becoming, you might argue, the face of the ADRC, the most winningest driver. He's in the 33 car, normally the 75. That is Ken Castillo. And to his outside, the 18 car of Bobby Labonte. Not how you want the first lap to start. That took out one of the nicest looking cars in the ADRC, Stephanie Shea's ride, and the old Chevy Stalker on the Laserdisc wheels. Look at that. There was 5 cars that were on their roof at one point. We have to take a look at this still. Look at this. 5 cars were at one point out of this race. We had 3 roll back over at one point. Wow, that was that's crazy. All right, Maxzilla, and look at this. Front row after 1 lap. Ken Castillo with 3 to go. All right, that could have been ugly. They all bunched up there going into 1. Don't complete the lap, but remember, it is going to count as a completed lap, so we'll have 2 to go. Maxzilla, Ken Castillo. Looked like Maxzilla was trying to get in front of Ken Castillo here. Castillo could give him a push. They could go 1-2. Doesn't quite work out. Look at Bobby Labonte on the inside. Goes high, maneuvers turn 1 really well. Turn 2 gets a little sideways, but corrects it just ahead of Maxzilla. Take a look at it. Real life as it happened motion. And then we'll slow it down for you. Slow motion for you. Slow motion for you. Ooh, Bobby Labonte. Okay, that's going to leave us with Bobby Labonte and Maxzilla on the front row. Going to take the white flag. All right, we'll have to run the lap again. Maxzilla goes off the track, gets ahead of Labonte just by about half a car length, and then gets sideways as they touch, and then Nisara Trunkel or something like that sends Maxzilla over. I mean, there's nothing she could do about it. And then Bobby Labonte can't spin it back over to get get around to the finish line. Look at that. Oh. And look at Strunkel at one point, and Bobby Labonte also on their sides. They were able to correct it. So still one to go. Bobby Labonte, Nasara Strunkel, or something like that, and Ken Castillo. Dude, I don't know, what a hell of a lap. I don't know how he does it. Ken Castillo going back to the main event. Look at Bobby Labonte here. Little low gonna go high. There goes, man, Nasara Trunkel popped up. Look at this. Labonte on his side gets pushed back over by Castillo. Regains his momentum, but by then it's too late. Castillo by him, going on yet again to the main event. Ken Castillo in that backup 30-30 car. Take a look at it real time. Has just enough momentum. Labonte hung in there, even being on his side, though. Gotta be disappointing for him. Had a strong car, looked like he was gonna get there. He still can win the seconds race, but that's your finishing order there with Ken Castillo. Moving on. All right, we got your sixth and final segment ready to go on the track. On the inside, gonna lead them down, the 20 car of Tony Stewart. To his outside, the 2 car of Nero 62. Row 2, the 216, that's Julius Harris making his season debut. To his outside in the 317, that is Chef Squid. Row 3, the 11 car, Lady Red Pill. And to her outside, the 3 car of Golden Girl. And Nero looked really strong there. 3 to go. All right, lap 2 was a mess. It looked like Chef Squid went over. Nero gonna get clipped there by Tony Stewart. Lady Red Pill trying to get around, gets a bump from Golden Girl. Sends her over and back on her wheels. Stewart and Chef Squid both go over. They are out of the race. Nero somehow gets back to the lead. He's going to lead them down. What just a bunched up mess that was. So Nero 62 and Lady Red Pill. Ah, what a disastrous lap for the team of Nero 62 right here. It looks like they go up the track a little bit. Lady Red Pill comes down. Lady Red Pill to the side of Nero. Nero gets a little squirrely, and then Golden Girl into the back of Pops. Sends him over, and then Golden Girl, too much speed into turn 1, goes over as well. They're in the back of the garage. It's going to leave us with 2 cars now. Lady Red Pill and Julius Harris. They're going to take the white flag. Can Julius Harris pull off the biggest upset in 2020? All right, you got to say, Julius Harris was going at it. Great looking lap till he comes off of turn 1. Unfortunately out of the race. So still 1 to go. Lady Red Pill. We've never had nobody win a segment before. Can it happen this time? Boy, the way she went into 1, I thought she was going to flip. We weren't going to have a segment winner. I'd never had before. I wouldn't even know what to do. But thankfully for her, able to correct it, backs it up on to the main event. All right, we have the seconds race. These are all the cars that finished second in their respective segments. Going to have a 2-lap shootout with the winner going on to the main event as the Staying Alive car. They're going to be led down by the 3 car of B. Finn to his outside the 4 of Bud. Row 2, the Cinderella story of this race, the 4 car of Minerva Luca to her outside the 911 of Carly K. And starting in the rear, the 18 car of Bobby Labonte. 2 laps winner going on to the main event. Wow, we just lost 3 cars in 1 lap, and it looked like B. Finn, Bud, and Carly K. Let's take a look here. Bud looking strong going into 1, goes too high. Carly K, and then B. Finn on his side, and fortunately goes down before he had even a chance to attempt to correct it. That still counts as a lap, so we're going to have 1 to go. Minerva Luca, can she make it to the main event? Well, the Cinderella story will not be Minerva Luca, but she gave it a good shot here. Looks like Labonte, I don't know if he came down to get in front of her and didn't realize, oops, I'm going to run into her, but it probably worked out to Labonte's advantage. Slowed him down a little bit, got him through 1 and 2 with no problem. At that point, Luca was hoping Labonte just wouldn't finish the lap so he'd go to another deciding lap, but not the case. Does everybody know what time it is? Main event time! That is right, and we have some new faces in this main event, especially going to lead them down. Front row, Sloppy Joe in the 49 car. Dude, I still can't eat this thing. Going to lead them down, followed by Squirrely Dan in the 43. Row 2, the 3 car of Brian Kelly to his outside the 11 car of Lady Red Pill. Row 3 in the backup 33, that's Ken Castillo to his outside the 2 car of Burt Buzzard. And the Staying Alive car, the 18 Interstate Batteries Pontiac, I think that was a Pontiac, is Bobby Labonte. 4 laps. Let's do it. Hey, who's honking their horn? All right, let's take a look at the replay here. Brian Kelly going to get smashed. Oh, look at that. Flips over. Ken Castillo got a little too aggressive there. That's what sends Castillo over. You do not see it on camera. That's why he's out of the race. Burt Buzzard, Squirrely Dan both collide going into turn 1. Squirrely Dan does a barrel roll, but fortunately for him, back on his wheels. And look at this. Going to lead him down. Takes the lead, Lady Red Pill. Gonna lead him down. 3 to go, Lady Red Pill, Sloppy Joe. As hard as it is to believe, Lady Red Pill had never won a race, so we were gonna have a first-time winner no matter what, but this just opens it up for one of the new teams to win now. Lady Red Pill and Bobby Labonte both go over. Labonte flips it back on his tires. Going to go into turn 2 backwards, is able to spin it around, refire it, and with a little help from Sloppy Joe, crosses the finish line. He was your Staying Alive car. He is now 2 laps away from becoming the first Staying Alive car to pick up a win. It's going to be real interesting. Bobby Labonte, Sloppy Joe, Squirrely Dan, and Brian Kelly. Who's going to win? 2 to go. Oh, Bobby Labonte was looking really strong in that 18 car. Take a look at this. Still gets hit by Sloppy Joe. Doesn't phase him one bit. Goes high for turn 1. Comes out of it looking really good. Strong into 2, but maybe too strong. Flips it over. Oh, that is so unfortunate for the Staying Alive car. Take a look at this. Real speed. Oh, he just took it a little too high. Unfortunately. Oh, man. Little slow motion action. Looking to become the very first Staying Alive car to pick up a win. He's going to go into it with 1 to go, but now out of the race. And that leaves it wide open. 1 to go. We have the 49 of Sloppy Joe, the 43 of Squirrely Dan, and the 3 of Brian Kelly. White flag, 1 to go. Squirrely Dan does it, picks up the W. Look at this, Sloppy Joe having problems with the divider, comes up and hits the passenger side of the 43. It didn't even phase. Squirrely Dan might have even helped him. Look at this, comes up for the block on Brian Kelly going into 2. Comes off of it, Kelly loses control. Squirrely Dan picks up in his very first Cup race. Picks up his very first Cup win. Take a look at it real time. Smooth lap. He probably saved his best lap for last. Best lap all day. Look at that. Kelly was right there, but really lost any momentum by going low. So this should be your official finishing order with 43 car. Mike Carroll's going to be happy. Designed the new logo for Sub 4 RA channel, as well as the ADRC will be unveiling, and he gets his first Cup win from Squirrely Dan in that 43 car. We almost saw Key West Racing and Show Me State Scale Racing also pick up their first wins. Just a matter of time, I think, before it happens. Nice little segue into the Sub 4 RA Victory Lane Celebration Podium, brought to you by Dave Akers Customs. Remember, if it wasn't built by Dave, oh man, it is built by somebody else. Alright, for the first time in his very first Cup race, Squirrely Dan enjoying the Sub 4 RA Victory Lane Celebration Podium. Now, he was kind of picked. His owner picked him and Zombie Hamilton, but couldn't choose between the two. So remember, you can only choose one car and one car only. So unfortunately, nobody picked Squirrely Dan technically. All right, now at this time, it's time to roll the credits for the point standings. Remember, 5 races into it. After the 6th race, we have our all-star race in which the top 10 drivers and points get in. Right now, I believe we're tallying them right now. Let's see what they say. They're really not going to say anything. We're just going to see it go up, then I'll say something. All right, let's see who's in the top 10. Well, started off Lady Red Pill with an 11-point lead over Ken Castillo, Carly K right behind. So we're getting a little separation in points, but those top 3, none of them had problems so far this season. We're getting near the top 10. Nasara Charunkel and Burt Bussard tied. So we would have 11 cars if it ended today, the halfway of the season. But it doesn't. We'll keep on with one more race. So there's a lot of drivers you can see right here. Definitely within striking distance. This is going to get crazy to get into that all-star race. So let's take a look at your remaining drivers here in the point standings, see where they wind up. All right, Devil's Backbone, definitely a lot of fun again this year, and I think it was even a little bit better on the mag track than what it has been in the previous seasons. Congratulations again, Squirrely Dan with team owner Mike Carroll and the team Forever 43 Racing going to victory lane for the very first time. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the next one.